And welcome everyone to this edition of ACAP Today for Tuesday, the 7th of April, 2020. I'm Jason Parent, the CEO of the Aroostook County Action Program and the host of ACAP Today. This program is designed to give folks an update of things that are happening within our community and here at the Aroostook County Action Program as it relates to our response to COVID-19. In addition to that, we take a deep dive each program in a featured interview with a program and individuals who are responsible for that program. In just a little bit, we'll be speaking with Greg Doak, who leads two programs for us here at ACAP. Those are the Homeowner Foreclosure Counseling Program and the Homebuyer Education Program. We'll talk a little bit about both because I think both are frankly relevant in this day and age, both as folks are maybe worried about with the downturn in the economy, how they're going to pay their mortgage, but also how they're maybe considering, as we have record low interest rates, which we'll talk about potentially becoming a homeowner in the not too distant future. So let's, before we do that though, get into today's headlines, just to remind folks some of the things that we're looking at here at the Aroostook County Action Program and with our partners across Aroostook County. First and foremost, this reminder that our offices are currently closed until the 30th of April, closed to the public, that is. We do still have skeleton staff working in each facility to meet critical needs, and all of our staff, if they're not working here, are working from home. So we do want to remind folks of that, and we'll post updates as updates are available, but through April 30th is our plan at this point. AroostookCommunity.com, our daily reminder to head to that website if you're looking to get help or give help. It's the one resource where county residents can connect to available resources. There are new topics that have been added in the last week. So if you're looking for childcare or you're able to offer childcare, for example, within the home, there's an option for that on that site. Beyond that, we understand that maybe not everyone can either navigate the site or access the site, so you do have the option to call 207-764-3721, which is ACAP's number, but we can connect you either through the website and post your query on the website, or help connect you with those services over the telephone right then and there. WIC is reminding folks that are eligible for the program that there are substitutions at this time, as there are some food shortages that people are facing. Some of these are listed on your screen now. They include in the area of substitutions for milk, substitutions for whole grain, cheese, and eggs, which are in limited supply right now, given the rush on the grocery stores as people are trying to shelter in place. So if you have any other questions about the WIC program, or would like to see if you're eligible for the WIC program and perhaps newly eligible, please do give us a call at 764-3721. We'll help you get connected with that. The Home Energy Assistance Program is another one that folks may be eligible for, and we are looking at less of a look back at income at this point right now for households that may be eligible. So if you have or know someone who has lost their employment as a result of COVID-19, please reach out to us for either one of these programs. We may be able to help you qualify for these programs. Certainly worth the call. Next is a program, a relatively new program that we're offering. We've done tobacco cessation for a number of years, but through a new program in partnership with the American Cancer Society, the Quick Link, and funded by the Maine Cancer Foundation, is this new tobacco program that we're offering. Elaine Sipe is our program coordinator as it relates to this. There's free and convenient help available. So if you've been thinking about quitting smoking, this may be the time for you. There are group online classes. Obviously, they're being held online right now, and support meetings also being held online. They'll help you with quit date setting, a support system setup, and connection to free nicotine replacement therapies. That's all available to you. So if you're thinking of quitting smoking, now's the time. Contact Elaine. Her phone number is right there on the screen, as is her email address. Our friends at New Ventures Maine have announced a reminder that they have a matched savings program where you can save money that will be matched 1-to-1 or even 4-to-1 upon completion of a 4-week My Money Works course by completing 4 different one-session money management workshops. Folks are eligible for a matched savings account. You must be income eligible. Please contact Suzanne Seneschal-Gendreau at the email address on your screen to learn more. They have also posted an updated list of their financial literacy, employment, and business classes, all online and all free and open to the public at large. Check them out at their website, again listed on your screen. And a reminder again, we've been reinforcing this since last Friday, but the Maine Department of Labor, in the rush of calls for filing unemployment, has introduced the new alphabetical by last name call-in schedule. So the coming days, Wednesday is R through Z. If your last name ends with R through Z, this is your day to call on Wednesday, tomorrow. Thursday and Friday are open and left unassigned for those who maybe weren't able to reach earlier in the week in the A through Q section, with Monday being A through H and Tuesday being I through Q. So please do reach out to the Maine Department of Labor if you're R through Z tomorrow, or on Thursday and Friday if you are otherwise. And so we are going to remind you of our top story yesterday here on ACAP Today, and that's the Wellness Shelter for Individuals Experiencing Homelessness, a partnership primarily between the Aroostook County Action Program and the University of Maine at Presque Isle, with networking of a number of additional partners, including the Aroostook Management Agency, Emergency Management Agency, Maine Housing, the City of Presque Isle, and Homeless Services of Aroostook, all partners on this venture. We are making the final plans to open later this week, pending the final approval of the plan by Maine Housing, and ensuring that the shelter indeed does not have available space to house people. So be on the lookout for more announcements as we open this up this week to help our community partners who are looking to help place individuals who are experiencing homelessness. And so with that, I'm pleased to welcome to the program Greg Doak, again, who oversees the home buyer education programs and homeowner foreclosure programs here at ACAP. Greg, welcome to ACAP Today.
Thank you very much, Jason. Thank you for having me.
So Greg, a lot happening in your world, and you, like many of our other employees, are joining us from home because you're working from home. So talk to me about what you're seeing right now and what people need to know.
Well, the National Fair Housing Alliance has given us some great guidance over the past few weeks as housing counselors across the state, New England, and on a national level. What we're seeing are some temporary relief options that are available for homeowners. And homeowners fall into two categories at this point. Folks that are in foreclosure currently, folks that are not in foreclosure but may be impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic and may find it difficult to make their mortgage payments moving forward. To start, if you're in any of those categories and you have the ability to continue making your mortgage payment, you certainly should do so at this point. There are so many rumors, myths floating out there that there are forbearance or forgiveness packages out there from different lenders. It's important to make your payment if you can. And if you're starting to realize that maybe you can't make your payment moving forward, you should reach out to your lender and let them know that, hey, I've been impacted by COVID-19. What's out there to help me specifically with you as the person servicing my loan?
So Greg, you and I were talking a little bit earlier. There are considerations that folks that there are opportunities out there that they may want to sort of weigh their options, and I think that the preference obviously is, if you, as you just stated, if you're able to continue to pay your mortgage, it's advantageous for you to do so. So what are you hearing out there in terms of what folks are considering and why or why not those decisions may be in their best interest?
Okay. To begin with, anything that's a federally backed mortgage at this point. So if your loan is serviced by the Federal Housing Authority, if it's a USDA guaranteed or USDA direct loan, if it's a VA loan, or if it's a loan that's securitized or owned by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, right now there's a forbearance program in place for you. If you call them, ask for it, and say, hey, I just can't make my payments at this point. The conversations we're having nationally are that forbearance program can be either 30 days, 60 days, 90, as far out as 6 months, and it's at the discretion of the borrower how long they'd like to have that forbearance. Loans that are not federally insured through different lenders, we're seeing that those lenders are also offering similar programs. The concerns for that would be, how am I going to pay that back at the end of the forbearance process? If you've chosen to take 6 months off of paying your mortgage, it's important to reach out to your lender to say, at the end of this period, how am I starting back in paying my mortgage? Do I have to catch up those 6 months? Have we rolled it to the end of the mortgage and simply restructured that debt? Or am I going to have to come up with a lump sum at the end of that 6 months? So it's dependent on who your lender is, what programs they have to offer, but it's very advantageous for people to contact their servicing lender. And if they're having problems doing so, they should contact me or Pine Tree Legal or another CAP agency, depending on their location, and ask for help from a housing counselor.
And what kind of assistance are you able to provide them? Obviously, advice and guidance, which is, I think, critical at especially a time like this.
We have a good network of resources for reaching out to the local lenders and the federal lenders as well. At this point, we're seeing reduced staffing at those servicing agencies. So call time is incredibly long if someone picks up the phone, likes to call USDA and wants to find out the status of what their forbearance program may or may not be. There are typically online options for all of these lenders, and those tend to get you results a lot more quickly than picking up the phone and waiting on hold with high call volumes. If borrowers, mortgage holders are having problems finding those links, getting those resources to make the initial contact, we can certainly help with that.
So a couple of things that you wanted to point out as well that we wanted to share with our viewers is that as it relates to the announcement of mortgage payment relief by governors and state attorney generals. What is your advice as it relates to that?
Again, if you're federally covered, your guidelines are going to be issued by the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
For folks that are in foreclosure at this point, local state government has closed down the courts as far as proceeding with foreclosure matters at this point. Anything federally backed, the president signed into law the CARES Act, which provides foreclosure and eviction, a moratorium on those, and temporary mortgage relief to help protect homeowners so they can restructure and move forward throughout this process.
So I guess as we're talking about this, it seems like the concern where you are at and the concern with homeowners that you're working with maybe isn't today or tomorrow, but it's down the road a little bit, isn't it?
It is. And in conjunction with the concerns that we have moving forward, it's wonderful to hear, hey, I don't have to make my mortgage payment for 6 months. That's a nice relief for a lot of people. I'd advise folks to be very careful of scams. Borrowers should ignore offers that guarantee anything, such as a promise that a company can obtain forbearance or forgiveness of all payments during this process. If it's not your specific lender that you make your payments to, don't accept an offer from an outside company to go do those things. If you do accept a forbearance program, it is crucial that you contact your lender, because certain things like taxes and escrow that are due to your local municipality or your insurance company may not be forgiven during this time period. Your mortgage payment might be, but those other supplemental things that are part of your mortgage in an escrow account may come due at the end of the forbearance, and you may have to pay that upfront as a lump sum. If you're experiencing a hardship because of COVID-19 at this point, certainly at the end of a forbearance period, you're not going to have that liquidity to make those payments.
So walk our viewers through, oftentimes the most apprehensive part of engaging in something is taking that first step. So what happens? Folks give you a call and I'm calling, I'm uncertain, I feel like I'm falling behind in my house payments, I'm afraid that I may face foreclosure. What do you do with them at that point? What's the kind of assistance that you provide, and how do you walk through that process to determine what next steps are?
The very first step in the process for me to obtain a signed release form from the individual that's calling, that gives me permission to act with them and on their behalf in reaching out to their lender. At that point, we establish contact with their lender. We'll make a phone call, we'll send emails for documentation so things aren't just verbal on the phone, and we'll help guide them through the process of making that initial contact and follow-up documentation to make sure that what they're signing up for, what they're signing off on, is something they can handle fiscally going forward.
And because obviously the title of foreclosure is there, homeowner foreclosure counseling, that's not necessarily the end result, is it?
No, it's not. And I would really impress upon people that are in the foreclosure category at this point to still maintain contact with a counselor an attorney, whomever it is that's helping guide you through this process at this point. And if you don't have someone, certainly reach out, because consistent contact throughout this period of time where things are closed down, the courts are closed, a lot of attorneys' offices are actually closed throughout Maine. It's important to still attempt to maintain contact and have some sense of documentation that you are doing your due diligence as a mortgage holder and want to resolve the issue when this finally comes to fruition.
It can be, and obviously is, a stressful time for folks if they're questioning and they're needing to pick up the phone to call someone around what could be foreclosure counseling, Greg. But oftentimes the work that you do, I imagine, is very rewarding, and the result for the folks that you work with is a positive one.
It is. We see very good results in what we do. I would really strongly encourage anyone that is feeling that they're going to be in this category, if they're not there already, to not be embarrassed. No one asks to have these kind of things happen to them. And certainly that's the purpose we serve here. Our job is to help. Our job is to not make you feel bad because you've fallen into this unfortunate circumstance. We want to help. We want to make it as painless as possible. And help you through it to get positive results. And the stronger we see engagement from the mortgage holder, the better end result we always see.
Before we move on to your other hat of homeowner buyer
Yes.
education, anything else on the foreclosure topic that folks need to know right now?
Reach out to your lender. That really is the most important thing. Lenders are being very gracious. They're offering some wonderful incentives. They're offering a lot of help. Everyone's in the same boat. A lot of the lenders are having employees that are experiencing layoffs because tellers just aren't needed in the bank. Certain workers are just not needed in those institutions. We're all in the same boat.
So now let's talk about something that folks may be considering and probably will be considering in larger number. Interest rates, as we pointed out, are record lows. Now's a really good time to consider if you want to be a homeowner, and what is the process that folks would benefit from utilizing your services.
I don't think we're going to see interest rates as low as they are now, or maybe in the next couple of months, for the very long foreseeable future. The feds have done a great job of trying to structure lower rates and still provide incentives that are there. Gentlemen from the Federal Reserve had a wonderful episode on 60 Minutes a couple of weeks ago that said the feds are going to continue to pump money into banks for programs like homeownership to make sure that liquidity is there within the banks and that we don't see the same downturn in our economy that we did back in the recession of 2007 through 2009. It was a horrible time. The appropriate funds were not directed when they needed to be, and we're seeing posturing on the side of the feds to do that now. So if you're considering, or were considering before this whole thing hit, home ownership, it's still a wonderful time. We would love to continue hosting our on-site classes at this point, but because of social distancing, obviously those are postponed in the format that we would like to do it in a group classroom setting. We are exploring the option, and hopefully we'll have a Zoom meeting like we're doing today, where homeowners that want to take part in the class can join in, participate in the class. Our other professionals that join in for those classes, our real estate agents, our bankers, our people from the closing company, and insurance folks are willing to join in and do that class as well in a Zoom platform. So hopefully we'll see that in the next few weeks. And we also have an online class that we've had right along where folks can, from the comfort of their home at their own leisure, sign into our website, go to our home ownership page and click on the link to take the class.
And we talked about obviously the record low mortgage or interest rates, but beyond that, there's a tremendous benefit to actually going through the process and going through the home buyer education program. Talk about some of those very real benefits.
Maine Housing has a wonderful program, not just for first-time home buyers. If you have not had a mortgage for 3 years, you are again considered a first-time home buyer. So maybe you moved away, you came back, you rented for a while, you've been clear of a mortgage for 3 years, and you'd like to buy a home. The program through Maine Housing offers a $3,500 incentive towards your closing costs, a 1% down payment, which is the lowest you're going to find anywhere. A traditional lender will require 20% down. So for a $100,000 home, come up with $20,000 out of pocket. That's steep. The benefit of the main housing program is the lowest interest rate going, period. Prior to this COVID-19 scare, it was at 3%. I believe it's going to drop lower than that now, which is wonderful. $3,500 at closing for sitting through the 8-hour class that we do when we do it in person. That's earning a little over $400 an hour for sitting in that class, which is wonderful. I should be getting paid that to teach it, maybe, I don't know. But
nice try, Greg.
And then the 1% down. And you really don't have to put the 1% down. Whenever you buy a home, you have to pay for the appraisal. The seller's selling the home, but you have to have it appraised so your bank knows that you're borrowing money against a home that's valued where it needs to be. The appraisal fee, the inspection fee, and the cost of the course all go towards your 1%. So almost everyone across the board satisfies that 1% down simply by going through the process of buying the house.
And aside from being either a first-time home buyer or someone who has been without a mortgage for 3 or more years, what other qualifications do folks need to have to be in the program? Are there income guidelines? Talk to me about that.
There are income guidelines, but they're very, very generous. They change on a monthly basis. They float a little bit here and there, but I've yet to see anyone come through the class and not qualify for the first-time homebuyer program.
That's great. Wow.
So it is. It is.
Greg, anything else at all that we haven't covered that you want to talk about today?
No, I think we're great. Other than, in addition to the homebuyer education class and the counseling that we do with that, we are now offering, as of this year, pre-purchase counseling. So you've gone through the course, you haven't bought a house yet, you haven't reached out to a lender, you haven't reached out to a real estate agent. We're now doing one-on-one counseling, whether you've taken the class or not, to help guide you through the buying process. So something new we're doing, and we've got 4 or 5 clients doing it as of this week, which is great. So nice little add-on benefit that we can give to expand our services and help folks attain their dreams.
That's wonderful. Well, Greg Doak, thank you so much for joining me on ACAP today. Just for folks' information, this is how you can get in touch with Greg. This is his contact information on the screen now. It notes here as it relates to foreclosure help, whether you have questions about foreclosure, not sure of your options or responsibilities, but it also should, in the headline as it reads in the subtitle there, talk about home buyer education opportunities as well. So for either of those opportunities, whether you're looking for a conversation around what you fear may be foreclosure or falling behind on your mortgage payment, or whether you're considering becoming a homeowner and want to take advantage of the wonderful incentives that the home buyer education program brings with it, please do contact Greg. He is reachable at 554-4175. That will ring right into him at his home office, or email him at gdoak@acap-me.org. Again, Greg, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Jason.
And we close today by reminding you that we are all in this together and encouraging you to reach out to us at 764-3721 if we can be of any assistance to you in this time, or email us at info-acap@acap-me.org. Also check us out on Facebook, online at our website, acap-me.org, and look for us on YouTube and our YouTube channel, which includes recorded broadcasts of this program, as well as a number of videos put together by many of our talented staff across the agency in various departments. And lastly, our snapshot of the day. This is young Damien, who regularly attends ACAP's Early Care and Education childcare program at Holton Military Street in Holton, obviously. Damien and his mom wanted to share how much they appreciate all ACAP staff is doing at a distance, social distancing, including providing meals for each day of the week, and Damien's meals come through the school district in Hodgson, as well as activities that our teachers put together for him to enjoy and learn at home. Damien loves the check-in time when his teacher reaches out to see how he is doing, and this is the photo that he did for us, and his mom captured this photo and wanted to send us this masterpiece to share it with his teachers at ACAP, and today we share it with all of you. Thank you so much, Damien, and thank you all of you out there for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of ACAP Today. In the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your day.